Hello guys and welcome back to the Traitors US, and we're on episode 5 and this show is getting absolutely crazy. We have got a lot to talk about in this episode. Questionable choices from the Traitors. Oh, I've got a lot of opinions on this because, oh my god, I don't know what these Traitors are doing. I really don't. I don't think anybody's playing a terrible game, but I don't think anyone's playing a particularly good game at the moment. Let's be honest. Like, come on. This is ridiculous. But anyway, if you guys are enjoying the content, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Do all that YouTube stuff that you guys do so well. And let us get straight into the episode so we can start talking about the most awkward high top tower, whatever it's called, Traitors turret thing that I've ever witnessed in my whole life. Oh my god, it was awkward. So, they just kind of stood there in silence at the Traitors turret and being like, well, this is awkward. We've just all voted off Bob the drag queen, even though I said I didn't want to. This is Danielle. And then Rob's sort of standing there like, yeah, these guys do not trust me right now. And Carolyn's standing there going, I don't know what I'm doing here. Ah! She does give big energy, but I love that about her. And actually, I think that... Do I think Carolyn's my favourite person in this series except for Danielle? Obviously, I'm going to love Danielle because Danielle's an icon. But I do love Carolyn as well. And I'm so excited to get to Survivor 44, even though that is like a good 30 seasons away. It's like 34 seasons away. Oh my god, why are there so many seasons of Survivor? Why didn't I start this like 20 years ago? Jesus Christ. Anyway, so let's get straight into what they were saying. Rob started off by being like, I won't come for you guys if you guys don't come for me. And I was like, ah, this is kind of awkward, but sure. But the annoying thing is that Rob... And I understand Rob's strategy is, if you even utter my name, I will come for you and I will destroy you. But that doesn't really work in this kind of game. Because, like, in Survivor, you're not getting caught as a traitor. But if you go after your fellow traitors in this game, it does make you look suspicious slightly. And it does arouse suspicion. And I'm sorry... But you having basically a trust me bro attitude when it came to Bob the drag queen being like, oh, who's always leading conversations? Bob. Like, there's a lot of people who lead conversations. Like, it's not just Bob. In fact, I'm fairly certain that, like, Bob... No, actually, no, I can't even say that Bob hasn't led conversations because he definitely has. But that's just who he is. It's not indicative of him being a traitor. So his whole argument, Rob, was just, trust me, bro, it's Rob. No, it's Bob. Rob and Bob. That's not helpful. That's really not helpful, producers. Why did you do that to me? But anyway, I just feel like it was a little bit of an ego thing with Rob. He came in late. Bob was sort of like the sort of male figure in the tower, somewhat. And Rob wanted that position, so he had to take Bob out. And he used the fact that Bob pointed out what literally everybody else was thinking, that one of the 3 new people could have been a traitor. He pointed that out, and Rob used that against Bob. So it does feel a little bit... It just didn't feel balanced. But anyway, we came down to 3 people to kill off: Robyn, Gabby, or Sam. I think the smartest person to kill off would have been Gabby. Gabby has raised suspicions about the bookshelf. Danielle and Carolyn and Rob know that she's raised suspicions about that bookshelf. So killing her off would end that line of inquiry, and the rest of the group probably wouldn't think that that had anything to do with her death. They would just think, oh, she's a faithful. That makes sense. And it would probably pin it a little bit more onto Nikki, being like, oh, well, she clearly killed her best friend to cover up the fact that she's a traitor. Like, that would have made sense. But either way, Carolyn and Danielle are just not sure whether they can trust Rob. And so both of them were like, maybe we need to get rid of Rob. And honestly, I think they do. I think they need to sacrifice Rob in some kind of fashion, because he ain't got long left and they need to get on the bandwagon before it's too late. Do you know what's so jarring to me? Walking into breakfast and I see Dylan sitting there with his cat backwards like Rob. And I'm thinking, this man is in love with Rob. This man is like, Rob is my idol. This man is literally dressing like him, and I'm sat there like, bro, he's a traitor. He's literally stabbed you in the back. What he's done is he's gone, oh, this guy knows that it's Bob the drag queen. Let me befriend him, and let me just like, almost like, not groom him, but like sort of make him, like take him under my wing and be like, yeah, we'll fight traitors together. It feels so, like, I'm just like, no, Dylan, run, please. But anyway, Dylan mentioned Carolyn's name to Danielle, not in a sort of she's a traitor, but like the chaos is just always there, and I'm wondering whether the chaos is an act kind of thing. And then we found out who got murdered, and the person who was murdered was Robyn. I really do feel like Robyn being murdered made absolutely no sense to me. And it hasn't progressed their games, I don't think. If anything, I feel like it's kind of hindered them a little bit. They had plenty of people that they could have taken out that would have taken suspicion off of them and put it onto other people. But with Robyn, it doesn't really indict anyone. It doesn't really point the finger towards anyone. So I was a little bit disappointed with that decision. But either way, it is what it is. Robyn, we're going to miss you. You are quite entertaining. I'll have to check out Potomac or Atlanta or Georgia, I don't know, whatever one you're on one of them, I know that much. Where is Potomac? Apparently Potomac is in Washington DC, so why not just have like the Real Housewives of DC rather than like Potomac? Like, what? That's not great branding for anywhere outside of the US. So this is where the absolute chaos that is the Traitors started to unravel, because Ivor brought up Rob's name to Carolyn and Derek, being like, so a sort of theory was been floating around last night that the reason that Rob knew that it was Bob was because he was a fellow traitor. And Derek is sat there like, that makes so much sense. Yes, let me run with that. Carolyn sat there like, fuck's sake. So then Ivar goes to tell Rob what has been said, like from Wes. And then Rob goes to confront Wes, and Wes is like, I didn't say that. Like, I was in a conversation where that was said. That was like floated around, but like aside from that, I didn't say that. He's obviously lying. He 100% did say that. But I found that very interesting that they're both sort of like not trusting each other at all, and now Rob and Wes are like just at each other's throats. And then we've got Rob trying to reassure Carolyn, and then Danielle seeing them together and being like, are they together? Are they working against me? This is where the paranoia of like Big Brother and Survivor really kicks in, because she's seen that and she's now like, I need to take out Carolyn. And I'm sat there going, why? Why are you doing that? She wants the same thing as you. She wants Boston Rob gone. Why are you getting rid of Carolyn? No! Danielle! Oh my God. But the thing is, it's salvageable. It really is salvageable. I think it's salvageable. Oh God. Oh, it's so frustrating, because I just sat there and I was like, what are you doing, Danielle? What are you doing? I literally yelled at my TV, what are you doing, Danielle? Oh, I was fuming. I was absolutely fuming. So, the Traitors US really loves to get their money's worth out of this fucking church. Every single series, there's some kind of challenge in there. They didn't have one in the UK season 3, but they did in this episode. And it was alright. There was urns, there was riddles, they had to smash them. Like, oh, it was okay. But the interesting thing is that Danielle has really set herself up for success or failure here. And I just don't know which way it was. Because when I'm watching it, I'm sitting there going, okay. Now, everybody's going to be like, this is a poor way to play. This is a poor way to play. But I'm here to flip it on its head. What if this is actually a very good way for her to play? What if people are looking at this and being like, this looks suspicious, but actually they're thinking, a traitor wouldn't have done that. A traitor would have wanted to save themselves. So really, we're looking at potentially masterful gameplay, but she doesn't even realise it. And that's what's so frustrating, because I'm sat here like, is this good gameplay? Is it not good gameplay? Like, she doesn't actually benefit out of this, but does she benefit? I'm not sure. The situation I'm talking about is the fact that Danielle answered 2 riddles correctly, right? The first riddle, she decided to give a shield to Dolores, okay? And everyone was like, what? Huh? That you're not saving yourself? That's interesting. That's suspicious. And then Derek was obviously the person that she took the shield away from by giving it to Dolores. And Derek felt betrayed by her, obviously. And then Danielle answered correctly again, gave it to Derek. And everyone sat there again going like, huh? Does she not think that she's going to die? Like, what? Huh? But I think if I was in that game and I watched somebody do that, I would actually think that that would be faithful gameplay, because the traitors would be wanting to take shields away from the faithful by putting their name up there. So anybody that put their own name up there, I would be looking at with a hint of, I don't know whether I trust that. But anybody who puts somebody else's name up there, I don't think that they're necessarily not worried about dying. I think that they're trying to gain favour with other people in order to have faithfuls that trust them and that they can trust. So that's probably where I would fall into the trap there. So I thought this was a decent plan, but everyone was like, what the fuck? Huh? What is going on? But interestingly, and this is a slight spoiler for episode 6, this has not been brought up again. So I think Danielle has gotten away with this. I think Danielle has managed to meow her way out of this situation, which is really, really good for her. I was worried that this could have been her downfall in this episode, but it seems like it hasn't even been brought up. The closest, again, and this is a spoiler for episode 6, so if you want to skip, go ahead like 20 seconds. But Dolores at breakfast was like, she gave me the shield yesterday. I'm hoping that she's still alive. Please let her still be alive. So in her head, she's thinking Danielle's a faithful. That's where her brain is at, because she doesn't believe that she's a traitor. That's where we'll leave that for now. But the two people that ended up with shields at the end was Ciara and Dolores. Fair and valid. Dolores is the last housewife standing, and honestly, protect her at all costs, so I kind of like Dolores. So this is where, like, oh god, everything just spirals out of control, and I'm just sat here like, Danielle, what are you actually doing? Like, you are one of my favourite Big Brother players of all time. Like, of all time. But these decisions are really making me question your mental health, because what is going on here? What do you mean? You're floating Carolyn's name around the castle, dropping it to different people. This is going to come back and bite you in the arse. This is gonna... Why would you try and get rid of Carolyn? I don't understand the traitors' insistence on, like, trying to get rid of each other. Like, I just want to watch one series where they all work together. I know that kind of happened in season 3 of UK, where, like, they were all working together, but then they just slowly got picked off, and then Charlotte backstabs Mina, and then backstabbed Freddie. Like, I just want one series where there's like 3 strong traitors that are just very good, and they don't backstab each other. We're not talking about Australia 2, because there was backstabbing in that series, especially at the end. Ooh. But anyway, well, actually the ending was incredible. But, just, so frustrating, because I'm like, we're on episode 5 and you're already thinking about taking out another traitor. Are you joking? Like, I would be hesitant and reluctant to want to get rid of one of my traitors, because then I have to recruit. And that recruitment holds a lot of power over me. A lot of power. Because at the end of the day, you can throw me under the bus, but I can throw you under the bus just as well as good. Do you know what I mean? So I just feel like, Danielle, sort yourself out. Stop floating the name. I'm so fuming. I'm absolutely fuming. So we're going to start the round table with talking about Rob. So I've brought up the Rob theory, and I was like, yes, okay, we're slaying with this Bob theory. Bob theory? Rob theory. Who put 2 Bobs and a Rob in one series? It's like they're trying to fuck with my brain. Anyway, so they were talking basically about, how did you know that he was a traitor? How did you know he was a traitor, etc, etc, etc. And I have to be 100% honest, I was not convinced watching Rob. I was not. The words he was saying, the things that he was explaining, the reasons he was using, he was basically just going, oh, I just had a feeling, bro. I had a feeling. He was giving the same energy as Sam from Australia 2. In the sense of, like, when he got rid of Ash, he was just going around to everyone going, trust me, bro. Trust me, bro. Like, we just have to vote him out. Oh, we just have to vote Ash out. Like, we have to vote her out, please. Come on. We can do this. We'll get a traitor. Trust me. Trust me. And it just... In this kind of game, you can't play like that. You really can't play like that. In Survivor, his bulldozer headfirst approach might work well for him once, because he lost the other 4 times. But in this series, you cannot do that. You have to operate from the shadows like Big Brother. That's why I feel like Danielle is playing the best game, because she's got the most applicable skills. I actually think Carolyn is playing the best game because no one really suspects her. But also, I think Danielle is doing a good job because she's doing things that a faithful would do. She's dropping people's names. It might be a fellow traitor's name, but she's still showing other people that she has thoughts, she has theories. And that is one thing that a lot of other traitors don't have. When they're asked who do you think it is, they struggle to give an answer. Oh, I'm not sure. Or so it never really cements themselves as a faithful. Anyway, basically that whole section with Rob ended with Sam basically saying, if you're not dead tomorrow because you're the traitor hunter, you're my new suspicion. And I was like, that is a fantastic point. If he is this big a threat to the traitors that he has taken one of the traitors out, like on a blind shot and just gone bam, traitor out, I would be looking to get rid of him. You've served your purpose. What if you strike again? I would not want you in my game. Get out. So if he survives tomorrow, that's suspicious. Or I guess he could explain it away as like, oh, they're trying to set me up. They're trying to make me look suspicious. But no, I wouldn't believe that. I wouldn't believe that. If I was the traitors, and yeah, I would get rid of Boston Rob. 100%. 100%. You get rid of your strongest faithfuls first. The ones that are the smartest. The ones that are the best at playing the game. He's still here. What's he doing here? So then Ciara accuses Nikki of not having enough emotional range, which I found a hysterical character assassination rather than why you're a traitor. Like, it was the most ridiculous reason. Like, you don't have enough emotional range. Like, what are you talking about, Ciara? Like, you're also on the block here and you're coming up with these silly little reasons. And then Ciara was accused of being distant. And I was like, huh? And then this was kind of the nail in the coffin for Chrishell. It was a little bit awkward. But, not for Chrishell, but for Nikki. When Chrishell brought up the fact that in the car, when Rob brought up to Nikki that that Bob the drag queen had dropped Nikki's name, Nikki looked like personally hurt. And apparently her energy shifted when Bob left as well. And I was sat there like, Chrishell, don't talk at the round table, my lovely. In the nicest way possible. If you've not got anything constructive to say and you're going to bring out the energies and my crystals, it's like, crystals ain't going to help you in this fucking game. Like, what are you talking about? So, honestly, I just felt like that was the nail in the coffin for Nikki, and Chrishell helped deal that last blow. I think Gabby also helped with that as well, and I was just sat there like, no, you girls are numpties, because the valid theory of why is Boston Rob still here when he just got out Bob the drag queen, because this is exactly what Bob said. Bob Harper, he was like, now, I'm just going to play devil's advocate, but imagine how awesome it would be if Boston Rob came into this game as a traitor, went up to that traitor's tower, saw Bob was running the show, and decided to take him out immediately. How cool would that be? And I was sat there like, this bro knows exactly what's going on. He knows exactly. He's like, he wanted to establish dominance immediately, show that he's the king of the traitor, because that's how he plays the game. And Rob was sat there like, oh, blah, 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 blah. And Bob Harper was like, no, I'm just playing devil's advocate, mate. Just play devil's advocate. I'm not saying you are that. But you could be. That's all I'm saying. Honestly, what a round table. Not one of the best, I gotta say. Next episode is the best. But it's still a good one, nonetheless. Okay, so voting time was as follows. It was actually a pretty unanimous vote, which was kind of crazy. But Derek voted for Nikki. Tom voted for Nikki. Chrishell voted for Nikki. Brittany voted for Nikki. Ciara voted for Nikki. Dylan voted for Gabby for some reason. I think he was throwing his vote away. Carolyn voted for Nikki. Wes voted for Nikki. Nikki voted for Ciara. Sam voted for Nikki. Ivar voted for Nikki. Rob voted for Nikki. Bob voted for Nikki. Dolores voted for Nikki. Danielle voted for Nikki. Gabby voted for Nikki. So at the end of that, we have 14 votes for Nikki, and then for Ciara and Gabby, they each have 1. And obviously, Nikki revealed herself to be a faithful. She was like, guys, like, it's a win for me that I get to go home and see my son, okay? It's a loss for you that I'm a faithful. Fuck y'all. Like, honestly, I would have the same energy. I'd be like, fuck y'all. What are you doing? What's going on here? Besties, shut up. You did not think I was a traitor. Shush. So hopefully this whole coffin theory is dead in the water now. Can we focus on other people, please? Because it's clearly not Ciara either. Oh, I'm so done with this. I'm so done with these faithfuls. Focus on Rob. So the last thing I want to say for this episode is Dylan told Carolyn that Danielle put her name out, and Carolyn was like, oh, she gonna die. I'm gonna kill her. I am actually going to kill her. And I thought this is the perfect opportunity for Danielle to turn around and be like, I did put your name out there. However, this is working to your advantage. And Carolyn would be like, why is it working to my advantage? Because when you are brought up around the round table as someone who has never had any suspicion on them, I can be like, well, no, I floated your name. Well, no, I've said that I think it might be Carolyn because of XYZ. And it gives you enough reasonable doubt to not get voted out in one of those, oh, well, you haven't had any suspicion, so let's just go for a random person. It's like, I feel like Danielle can easily play it off that way. She's not going to, because she's not got my brain and she's not got the level of tactical ability that I have from just sitting here and watching loads of traitors all day long. But I think that that would be the smartest thing as a traitor, is to just subtly throw out your fellow traitors' names to a couple of people just so that they're in their brains, but to gauge a reaction of who's thinking that and who's not, so that when you get round the round table and, for example, with Mina, the whole Mina thing, when they were like, oh, we haven't really looked in your direction. Amanda in season 1 of UK, they were like, we haven't really looked in your direction, so we're just going to vote you out and see. What sort of a vote is that? But if Amanda's name has been brought up and has been discussed, then yeah, fair. We've had those discussions. We've had that moment of, do we think it's Amanda? Nah, we don't think it's Amanda. But because Amanda didn't have that, that was why she went. So by mentioning Carolyn's name to people, it's making people go, oh, people are suspicious of her, but I'm not. And I think that that is such a smart way to play as a traitor. But obviously Danielle wasn't doing it for that reason. But I feel like in order for that to work, the traitors have to know that that is the plan. So the traitors, and I feel like it would be really interesting if the traitors were like engaged in a feud that people believed was fake and that was fake. And that they were like, oh, not that people believed was fake, but believed was real, but they were faithful, just targeting each other so they could make it towards the end of the game. I think that that would be a really interesting thing. I would be like, if I was Danielle to Carolyn, I'd be like, let's pretend that we've had a massive falling out, or let's have an argument around the round table, accuse each other, and then people will be like, nah, they're just two faithfuls going at each other. Because I feel like that is exactly what will help you make it further in this game, is if you do something that a faithful would do, and oh, it's getting confusing in it. It's getting really confusing. But you know what I mean? Like, I have such good strategies. But I know I'd be so shit at the game. I would, because I'd be like the first one they vote out, and I'm like, great, I've come all the way to Scotland for this. I've come all the way to Scotland to just get voted out of the first round table. Fuck's sake, man. But anyway, that is all we've got time for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys have enjoyed. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Do all that YouTube stuff that you guys do so well. And I will see you guys in the next episode, whenever that may be. But until then, make sure to keep on ranting. And I'll see you guys later. Bye now. See ya.